Okay. Hello, everyone. We're going to start now. Thank you so much for coming today. I am so excited that there's this many people here today. I was not expecting this many. Thank you. So welcome. If you have any questions, please hold it off until the end. We will be having food available once this presentation is over. So if you want any food, please stay till the end, okay? So we're going to start with our first presenters from Republic Service. They are our local waste haulers for the City of Richmond.
Thank you. All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having us here. I'm Sophia. This is Ariana. That's Leonardo. And Christina is in the back doing Spanish translations. But we are your sustainability team for Republic Services, your waste and recycling hauler in the City of Richmond. So we serve as a go-to resource for what goes where. We develop a lot of the outreach in collaboration with the City of Richmond. And we are at a lot of your community events. We're sort of the people that are out there in the community. And we do presentations like this. So if you have an organization where you need resources or a presentation, we're your people. All right, so just a quick overview of what we're going to talk about. We'll start with California state legislation. It kind of explains why everything is the way it is and how the state requires us to handle waste. We'll go into the environmental impact, which is super important and why that matters. Then we'll discuss organic waste recycling, what goes in your green cart and what ends up where your green cart material ends up. Then we'll discuss recycling, what goes in there, what we accept, and where that ends up. And then we'll talk garbage. Lastly, we'll discuss household hazardous waste, which we call HHW, your resources for that, things like that. And then we'll go into services and programs because we did go enter into a new contract with the City of Richmond. So there are new programs and a lot of new good stuff for you to take advantage of. All right, so starting with state legislation, we have AB 341, which is mandatory commercial recycling law. So that sort of set the stage and required commercial businesses to recycle material over if they generated over 4 cubic yards of recycling. And that was intended to increase recycling collection. That sort of led into AB 1826, which came next, which was targeted at more bigger organics, food waste generators, and increased our organics collection, which ultimately led to the beast that is SB 1383. So that's our short-lived climate pollutant reduction strategy. That spread organics and recycling collection requirements across the state. So residents, businesses, apartments and condos, everybody's got to separate their waste unless they are given an exemption by the city. So that's a big one. That's a lot of the work that we do, that we work on. There's a lot of requirements that go with that one. But the ultimate goal of that one is to reduce our methane gas emissions. So when food is sent to the landfill, if we don't separate it, it ends up in the trash. It emits methane gas, which is a climate super pollutant, and what we do not want. So if we can separate it, we can turn it into compost and get a new end use for it and turn it into something good instead. So another one that you'll see popping up, AB 827, our commercial organics and recycling bins in limited service restaurants, so your Paneras, your Chipotles, where you bus your own table, those are now required to have the 3 bins. A lot of what we do is help businesses get set up with that, proper signage, things like that. So that's also why it's so important for the community to know what goes where, so that you can do it no matter where you are. Another one, these two are they're sort of addressing a lot of the problems that have come up with this. So SB 54, you'll see that coming up, Plastic Pollution Prevention and Packaging Producer Responsibility Act. So, a mouthful. That one is sort of addressing the fact that it's addressing single-use plastics and the issues with that and packaging. And how we as consumers can only do so much. Eventually, producers of the product do need to take, this is putting more of the responsibility on them to create product that can be either recycled or composted across a majority of municipal composting and recycling programs. And then we have SB 343, which is accurate recycling labels. So that's going to put more regulations on what can actually be labeled as recycling. All right. So the Chinese national sword. So we were pretty used to sending all of our stuff abroad and them accepting it. And then in 2018, China implemented the Chinese national sword, which put a strict contamination limit at 0.5% contamination in order to be accepted. So this put onto us, we implemented new technology to better sort and better filter our recyclables. And then onto you and our outreach, we do require when you're recycling that it is empty, clean, and dry. So all of our messaging, you'll see empty, clean, and dry, and that's because of this one. We need our materials to be, we just need the plastic, we don't want the food and all the stuff in there. All right, and then the environmental impacts of waste. So improper waste disposal definitely, as we all know at this point, has severe environmental consequences. We've got pollution, habitat destruction, climate change, there's public health risks, and resource depletion. And ultimately, these impacts highlight the critical importance of proper waste management practices, including our recycling, composting, and safe disposal of our household hazardous waste items. Ultimately, landfills, there's a negative connotation with landfills a lot of the time. They do take up a lot of land, and they do take habitat away from our wildlife. But we do want to preserve the life of our landfills so that we can keep them going as long as possible. And they are the best solution that we have at this time, and they're our best modern solution. So that is why it's so important that we continue our recycling and organics programs, and we reduce our pollution. So again, we have this inverted pyramid here. Top of the pyramid, we say refuse. If you don't need the plastic fork, don't take it. We've got forks at home. Reduce, we want to reduce our items where possible. So that's we don't need our plastic water bottles. We can use our items over and over again. Reusing our items, if you get a plastic bag at the store because you forget your reusable one, use it again for something else. It takes all of us to keep doing those things. So then our next is recycle, recover our materials, which is where we come in. And then our last item is dispose. So with that, we'll talk about the organics.
Alrighty, so now we'll talk about our organics. You kind of might recognize the green cart. You guys probably have that at home. So anything that goes into your organics green cart is something that can decomposed in soil. It's a little different from your residential compost. You can put a little bit more stuff in your green cart because we have a facility here in Richmond that processes it, and it's a little higher grade, so you can put stuff like meat and bones. So some of the stuff that goes in your green cart is going to be your food waste. So you could put fruits, vegetables, you can put dairy products and bread. It can be moldy. You can put it in there. And then again, when we talk about those meat and bones, sometimes, in your at-home compost, you won't put bones because they won't break down, but you can put that in our green cart. And then food soiled paper, that's one that a lot of people don't know about. So your paper plates, your napkins that are used with ketchup on it, you can put pizza boxes in there, newspaper. And then you can also put clean natural wood in here. So if it's treated, you would not be able to put that in here because it has chemicals on it. But if it's clean natural wood, you can put it in there like tree branches and stuff like that. And then that goes into your yard waste that you can also put in your green cart. And then, so some stuff that you can't put in your green cart that you might see are going to be your dirt, your rocks, and then we have plastic utensils. Even if they say they're compostable, most of the time they are not. They won't break down at our facility. Bioplastics like that say that they're compostable, they won't break down. So those are not allowed in your green carts. And then we have what you can put. So you can use BPI certified bags to line your little I think you guys saw the pails that are back there. You can use that. You can use nothing if you want, or you can use like a paper bag or put newspaper on it. You know, those things will break down. So those are things that can go in the green cart. And then what happens to your organic waste? So when we collect your organic waste container, we take it to the Golden Bear transfer station where it is put in rows and we rotate with water and air. And then it gets sunlight and it helps break down bacteria and the material turns into nutrient-rich soil. And then this soil ends up in farmlands around California. We donate it to local school projects, and it is also available to you guys for free every first Wednesday of the month at our West County recycling facility at 101 Pittsburgh Avenue in Richmond. And then now we'll go into recycling. So recycling, your blue cart. This one I feel like is a little bit more, a lot of people know a little bit more about recycling, but these are some of the categories that you can put at home. So you have your glass, you have your cardboard, your aluminum foil, your metal, your plastic bottles and containers, and then you can put paper. Plastic bottles, one of the things like we like to tell people, if it's hard that you can knock on it, that's a plastic that we can take in the blue cart at home. And if it's like a plastic wrap or plastic film, those we usually don't take because you can poke a hole through it. They get stuck in our machines at the recycling facility, so they're just a little bit of like a more looser film plastic that we wouldn't take in the recycling. We like hard plastics. And then next slide. Sorry. So then these are some tips on how to recycle better. So for example, we want your cardboard to be flattened. It just helps with keeping more space in the container so you guys can put more stuff in there. Then we want everything to always be empty, clean, and dry, just so that there's no contamination when we're putting them with other stuff, if it has like food or water or liquid in there. So just make sure everything's empty, clean, and dry. And then some don'ts. Sometimes people think that clothes is recyclable or like fabrics and stuff like that. It's not. If you can't if you can't donate it, that would go in the trash. So I always recommend donating it first, but if you can't, it's all messed up or something, that would actually go in the trash, not in the recycle. And then the food soiled clamshells. So they are plastic, but it is contaminated with a bunch of food. So those ones are not going in the recycle. And then electronic waste, that's something that Leo will talk about. That's HHW, so that's not going to go in your recycling bin. Batteries, I know you guys have heard maybe sometimes like batteries cause fires in trucks and garbage trucks and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really important to make sure you take those to HHW and not put them in any of your bins. And then lastly, styrofoam. Styrofoam is not recyclable, so don't put any styrofoam in your recycling. And then some best practices. So we get a lot of questions about shredded paper. Best practice is to put them like in a paper bag as such right here. And then you can put that in your recycling. And then we'll take clear plastic bags. And then we'll also just, if you don't want to, you could also just use no bag. But if you want to use a bag, only clear bags. Black bags are considered contamination. If a driver or somebody at the sorting facility were to see a black bag, they're going to think that's garbage and they're going to throw it out. So the clear bags we're able to see, okay, there's actually bottles in there and there's recyclables in there, so that is recyclable. And then lastly, recycling operations, a little bit about how that works. So from your house to us and then to how it gets reused. So from your house, it comes down to our recycling facility in Richmond, where they use optical sorters and AI, and they also use magnets to sort the materials into different categories like glass and metal, paper, cardboard. And then from there, they get sorted and they get baled, and then they get shipped off. We have local places, for example, a lot of our plastics get shipped to Las Vegas. There's a new polymer center that Republic opened, and they'll break those down into small pellets, and then those plastic pellets can be reused for new items. Another example is glass. Glass gets shipped off pretty local here to Modesto, and they get reused, and you can see them on, I think, the shelves in 7 days for glass bottles sometimes. 2 weeks. So yeah, those are some like local, like how fast and local some of these things are getting recycled. And then I'll pass it to Leo to do some garbage.
Thank you, Ariana. So now we'll talk garbage. So you'll probably see carts throughout your neighborhood. The black carts are the new ones to be in compliance with SB 1383, but you'll probably see a lot of the old brown carts still around. Now we'll talk about some of the materials here that you'll put in your garbage can. So we'll start from left. Tetra Paks. These are your juices or milks that have longer shelf life. The reason why these aren't recyclable or that it goes into your garbage is because it's made out of multiple layers. We do not like products with multiple layers just because it's harder to, or just very difficult to try to separate each material. So for the Tetra Paks, you'll have a little bit of aluminum, you'll have some paperboard, you'll have some plastic. So these materials maybe by themselves could be recycled, but since they're all together, unfortunately the technology isn't there to separate those. So Tetra Paks you want to put in the trash. Styrofoam in a lot of cities that have ordinances against styrofoam just because it's not the best material, not for the environment. So styrofoam, no good. Or into your garbage. Broken ceramics, a lot of your plates, mugs, you want to put that into your garbage. Diapers, plastic utensils, plastic straws. We recommend bringing your own metal or wooden straws or utensils to restaurants to be a little bit more sustainable. Textiles, as mentioned before, if they aren't in good condition or they can't be donated to a thrift store or friends, then we'll have to put that into the trash. Also PPE, so that's your face mask, latex gloves, you'll want to put those in the trash, as well as the snack bags, so your chips, chip bags, yep, food containers, if it's all dirty and it's plastic and not something like a compostable tray, you also want to put that into your trash. Painted and treated wood as well go into your trash. Now we'll talk about landfill. So when a truck collects your trash from your home, it will then go to the Golden Bear transfer station where it is dumped and waited to be put into a trailer that goes to Keller Canyon landfill. And basically, this is just an overview of how the landfills work. So at the bottom, it'll be lined with plastic tarps or some clay liner. And pretty much it's just a big hole that gets mounted on top of with garbage. At the end of each day, they are compacted on top of with more dirt. So it's just like a lasagna kind of plate of trash. And then the either clay or dirt, and that just keeps stacking up. Usually landfills have a life of around 50 years. And so, and the leachate, which is the runoff water from rain or all the juices from your trash, actually gets collected and recycled on site, so we don't have that contaminated any of the groundwater. And yeah, so that's just a pretty much overview of how landfills work. Now we'll talk about household hazardous waste, which is a category that we do not want in any of your carts. We want to dispose of those safely. So some of those include computers, monitors, paint, used cooking oil, pesticides and herbicides, fluorescent light bulbs, batteries, aerosols, solvents, car batteries, motor oil, pharmaceuticals, sharps, and needles. So a lot of these we just don't want because, one, it's either dangerous for the environment or dangerous for our workers, and we want to keep everyone safe. The batteries, as you've probably heard on news, are different articles online of fires that go into the truck because of these batteries are compressed and then explode and combust, and we just want to make sure our drivers are safe and our equipment's okay. So for these, we want to take it to a hazardous waste facility. Thankfully, we have one in Richmond local. That is on 101 Pittsburgh Ave in Richmond. The hours are every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. with a 30-minute lunch break from 12 to 12:30. When you do visit our facility, please bring proof of residency and such as your license. And here's just a little map and a phone number if you'd like to reach the facility. Now I'll pass it back to Sophia.
All right, thank you. So we're just going to overview a bunch of the new services, some of the ones that are still here that you get with your garbage service. So I did want to touch on our new outreach and resources that we have. So coming in the mail shortly, you should have, if you live in a single family home, you should get a residential waste service guide, which is super all encompassing. It's got all these new programs that I'm about to touch on here, all of our old programs that we still have going. It's definitely going to be able to answer a lot of questions, and it should be coming right to your mailbox. And if it doesn't, give our customer service a call, and we can send you one. And then we also have a whole new website. So we developed this. It's Richmond specific. It's got all the specific Richmond programs. And it's a great resource, and you can translate it as well. So we do have new solid waste rates. It's your collection rates. Those went up effective July 1st. If you have any questions on those or how your bill breaks down, there's more information on our website. And then the reason those all went up is because we have all these great new programs for you to take advantage of. So our first one is our on-call curbside cleanups. So with if you have a single-family home, that's who this program is targeting. So you get 3 collections. So we'll go to your house up to 3 times. And for each of those times, you can pick one of these in this box on the left. So there's 15 35-gallon bags you can set out, or you could set out 4 95-gallon bags, or you could set out 5 e-waste items. If you're going to do a bagged cleanup, you just need to remember it can't be over 50 pounds. So if it's really, really hard for you to take out, it's probably going to be really, really hard for our drivers to take out and dump. One bagged cleanup can be substituted for a bulk item pickup. So for once a year, you can schedule a no-cost bulk item pickup. So that's going to be things like if you want to set out a couch, you can set out a couch, a refrigerator, a toilet, any large items that you have, any furniture, things like that, as long as it's under 200 pounds. And then we've also brought it to apartments and condos. So this is a super new program for us. So any multifamily property can schedule a large item collection on behalf of each of their units. So we do have a 20-unit limit for larger properties, though. So if you have a 15-unit property, you can schedule a bulky item collection for each of your units, which is pretty cool, and you get the same options. So if you're moving out of your apartment, you can give your property manager a call and ask them to schedule this on your behalf, and you can set out any furniture that you can't take with you, or up to 3 large items, or you could pick the 15 35-gallon bags, or the 95-gallon bags, or the 5 e-waste items. And then we are also introducing holiday tree curbside cleanups. So you might have put your tree out this year. You have a chance again next year to put it out at the curb. So we'll now collect it directly from the curb. We used to have to put it in our carts, but now you can just set it out next to your cart. A different truck will come by, they'll grab it for you, and then we compost them. So only natural trees are allowed, no flocked trees, and all decorations and lights will have to be removed in order to get picked up. And we also have brought that to apartments and condos. So any property manager can schedule that for your property. We also call property managers and ask about setting that up. So if you ever have questions, we do say if you live in an apartment and condo, anything like that will need to be scheduled through the garbage company will need to be scheduled by a property manager. We can't schedule with tenants. But yes, so it's a no-charge collection for a 3-week period. This is for both programs, the apartments and residential. You can set it out for 3 weeks beginning December 26th. So if your collection day is on Thursday, you're going to set it out on any Thursday within those 3 weeks after the 26th. All right, and then we have some new residential cart programs. So for lost, destroyed, or stolen carts, you can request a replacement once every 10 years. It's no cost. Or if you need clean carts, if you've had the same carts for 25 years, which is more common than you would think, and they're really gross, you can just get those switched out for clean ones once every 5 years. And then additional recycling and organics carts. So you can request an additional recycling cart if you have a ton of extra cardboard and you've got the space for it. You can have 2 recycling carts for no additional cost, or you can have an additional green cart. And to schedule a cart delivery or exchange or repair or anything like that, you can give our customer service team a call. And repairs are still available for no additional cost. So if your lid breaks, give our customer service team a call. They'll get someone out there to fix it or replace it. If the body of your cart cracks and stuff is leaking out of it, please give us a call so that we can get that fixed for you. And then we now offer a Richmond low-income discount. So who qualifies? It's people who participate in the PG&E care program or any discounted utility program. So another common one is the FERA program. So if you participate in one of those and you can give us proof through one of your PG&E bills, then you can get this $5 discount, and it's $5 per month. And then to apply, you'll just need to give our customer service team a call. They'll walk you through the process, but you will need to provide a copy of your utility bill and proof of ID, and it will need to match. So you will have to be the account holder on your garbage account. All right, and then we have a senior discount as well. So anyone 62 or older qualifies for the discount. It's $5, and it counts on all sizes of trash. So if you have a 35-gallon trash, you can get the $5 discount. If you have a 65-gallon trash, you can get the $5 discount. And then to apply for that one, you'll just call customer service. They'll be able to walk you through it, but you will need to be ready to provide proof of your ID. And then some of our continued resources. I think you saw in the back, we've got the food compost pails. They are available for collection at Richmond City Hall. You'll also see us probably out in community events. We hand those out a lot. They're no cost. They're a great resource to separate food at the source in your kitchen. They've got little air holes in the top. They're great. They're really great for separating food. And then we also have the compost giveaway program, which we've touched on, and you'll have a flyer in your bag that explains more about that. But it's the first Wednesday of each month. It's 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We have the lunch break, and you just need proof of ID, or proof of residency, sorry. So that could be an ID or a bill of some kind that you live in Richmond. And it's a lot of compost you can get. So if you have a garden or something like that, you can come every month if you need to. It's a great program. And we have a lot. All right, and then we still have the Bye Bye Mattress program. So we recycle mattresses, which is awesome. So you can drop off your mattress at our hazardous waste facility, and it's no cost. So that's a great resource for getting rid of a mattress. Don't dump it on the side of the road, please. And then our hazardous waste disposal, we really want to highlight this program because it is no cost to drop it off. You just pull into our facility. It's super easy. They take it out of the trunk for you. You just need to provide proof of ID. There's typically not a line of any kind. As long as you can get out there, it's awesome. We do have a door-to-door program for seniors and disabled. So if you need, that's an option as well. And you should have a flyer in your bag that outlines this program in more detail and what sort of items we can take from you for that. And if you ever have questions, you can call. It might have been on a different slide, but it should be on your flyer, and they'll be able to answer your questions for you. And that is it for us. I will pass it back to Valerie.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so my name is Valerie. I am with the City of Richmond, especially the Environmental and Health Initiatives Division. If you would like to learn more about what I do and what my division does, please visit richmondenvironment.org. So I want to first talk about our I Heart Richmond booklet. If you signed in, hopefully you grabbed the booklet outside at the sign-in table. If not, please visit this website. You can also grab it when you leave. But this I Heart Richmond booklet is very important, especially for City of Richmond residents. It also has information for county. The reason why we always like to promote this is because it has a bunch of information such as free city programs, like the bulky item pickups, like what Republic Service talked about. It has information about the mattress pickups, the senior bulky item pickups as well. It also has a bunch of phone numbers if you would like to reach out to the city, if you have any complaints, please reach out to those numbers. It also has apps. So, for example, there's this eScribe app where if you see any potholes, smell any like odor, so if you have any odor complaints, please go to that app and submit your complaints. You can also, it's a very easy process. You can also take photos and upload it so they know where it is. And then there's our social media apps as well. So next, I want to talk about our Richmond Footwear Ordinance. So the reason why this is very important is because the Footwear Ordinance was first grandfathered by the City of Richmond. It's also known as the Municipal Code 9.17. So this Footwear Ordinance requires establishments, retails, to make sure that they are not selling or handing out plastic foodware. So whenever you go into a restaurant or when you're shopping at a retail store, you want to make sure that they are not handing out plastic foodware, plastic bags. So the best options that we like to offer when you go to a restaurant is to use reusable foodware. Obviously, a lot of restaurants won't provide those options, so the next great option would be compostable. So whenever you go to a restaurant and you order takeout, you want to make sure that they are handing out compostable foodware. Obviously, not a lot of restaurants could provide that immediately. So, you know, if you ever see any restaurants offering like styrofoam, you want to report it to us so we can do our best to make sure that they are not doing it. And then obviously not allowed is styrofoam, non-recyclable plastics, plastic straws, and stirrers. So I also want to talk about plastic straws and stirrers. Whenever you order a drink, you want to make sure that you are not getting any plastic straws or stirrers because they are not allowed in the City of Richmond. They are banned. So please report it if you ever see any. And then I just want to talk more about the state laws. So these are very important as well when you go into any retail stores and restaurants. So for California Assembly Bill 1884, this came into place in September 2018, where it bans the sale and use of plastic straws and stirrers in retail, food, and lodging establishments. So this kind of goes back into our foodware ordinance. And if any customers wanted non-plastic alternatives, just because, you know, it might be like a sensory thing, they can request for it, but it is not allowed. Then we want to go to AB 1276. So this came into place in January of 2022. It was created as an extension for AB 1884, where it mandated all food retailers and platforms to provide only single-use foodware accessories and condiments. So if, only upon request. So if you ever go through any drive-thrus, again, go to a restaurant, and you order takeout, they might not provide you any foodware, so you want to make sure that you are requesting for it. Next, we want to talk about Assembly Bill 45. So this permits the manufacture and sale of wide range of products containing regulated amounts of industrial hemp. So this kind of goes into compostable foodware. So whenever you purchase any compostable foodware, you want to make sure that you know what product is being made out of. So this Assembly Bill allows those compostable foodware to be made out of hemp. Next, we want to talk about SB 1053, Senate Bill. So this came into place this year, January 1st of 2026, where it requires all retailers, such as Target or Foodware, to only provide single-use bags. So you want to make sure that you are not getting any plastic bags when you're shopping there, and make sure that they're only providing compostable or like paper bags. So next, we just want to go more into depth about the California Senate Bill 1383, and I'm going to have my colleague Samantha Carr talk about it.
Hello, everybody. I promise I'll be really quick. My name is Samantha Carr, Environmental Manager in the Environmental and Health Initiatives Division, which is under Economic Development. I just have a quick comment about 1383, and this is for any city staff that are in the room. As part of SB 1383, the city is required to purchase any paper products that have a certain percentage. They're required to have a certain percentage of recycled content paper. So that is a fun fact for all the city staff here. Feel free to talk to me after. And then unrelated to 1383, I also wanted to share if when it comes to recycling, there is opportunity to, in addition to the $5 per month, there's also opportunities to reduce your bill as well. If you're able to reduce and recycle properly, and I mean recycle properly, recycle plastics properly, recycle compostable or compost food-related items properly, then you're able to reduce the size potentially of your trash bin, and that can help support in reducing your bill. I do want to note the key word is properly recycle, because if you do not, you will get a contamination surcharge and you will get fined if you do not recycle properly. So that is for both the blue and the green bins, so be careful. And that's also why we want to try to have these, that's why we try to have these workshops, is to make sure everybody is informed and we're all on the same page, and we don't want contamination surcharges. So that's our goal. And with that, I will turn it over to the team.
Yes, so now we're going to start with questions. If you have any, please raise your hand. I will pass the mic to you. I will pass it to you first. Sorry. Yeah. Please speak into the mic.
Thank you. This is great, very informative. My name's Mickey. I'm with the Green Team 94803 in El Sobrante. And I'd like to know, does this mostly apply to unincorporated Contra Costa County, the recycling and all the things that you said about that? And also, if we show proof of residency there, we can take advantage of the hazardous waste and the other programs you have?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So unincorporated county is part of our service area. So our service area includes unincorporated county. We have Pinole, Hercules, San Pablo,
Okay.
and then Richmond. So all of the West County area is us, and a lot of those, the hazardous waste facility, the same accepted materials, all of that is the same. The only thing that's a little bit different for the different cities is kind of the on-call collection programs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we recycle like supplement bottles and things like that?
Empty?
Plastic.
Yep.
Yeah, and all that.
With those, I would say if the lid, like the like a plastic jar kind of bottle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Most of the time, yeah. We're looking for number 1 and number 2 in the little recycling triangle. Those are typically always going to be your hard plastics. Sometimes they're number 5. So that's another way to kind of tell. But yes, you can. I would say if the lid is off, the lid would be too small to recycle. But if the lid is on, we can keep it and recycle it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Same with
All right.
bottles.
All right.
Hi,
Hi.
I live in Kensington, which belongs to Contra Costa County. Do I take my hazardous waste to the El Cerrito Recycling Center or to Richmond?
So the El Cerrito Recycling Center, I'm not as familiar with Kensington, and I'm sorry.
Well, they have the hazardous waste collection on Tuesday.
Yes.
And
yes.
I have taken hazardous waste to them and they accepted it. But sometimes they advise me to take it to Richmond. So I'm not quite sure, is Kensington within your service area? Because our collection is from, I think, Richmond.
Yes. So we will take your hazardous waste. It's And in Richmond, you can also take your hazardous waste only on Tuesdays to the El Cerrito Recycling Center. We promote this one because it's our facility, but you do have technically an option to take your hazardous waste from Tuesday through Saturday. So Tuesday is El Cerrito, Wednesday through Saturday is us in Richmond.
Okay. And for the milk bottle, I mean, say those paper one, we cannot throw it into the blue bin.
No. So unfortunately, we did try to recycle them. It didn't work out because on their own, a lot of the materials are recyclable. So there's aluminum in there, there's plastic, there's glues, all of that stuff. But what we do at the recycling facility is we actually separate things out into those categories. So we separate all the aluminum and we ship that off, or we sell it or send it off locally. And then all the plastics go with the plastics, all the paper with the paper. So when we can't separate them like that, they actually, we can't recycle them. They can be recycled through a specialty recycling system. And maybe one day we'll have that technology, but we don't at this time. We did try to compost them as well. But because they have all those glues and that aluminum and stuff, they just don't break down.
So we have to throw in the trash.
Yeah, they have to go in the trash, but that's why.
And for the compost program, can Kensington resident make use of that? I mean,
I don't think so, but I can check.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you before you leave.
That would be great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you again so much for this presentation. It's awesome. I think I'm tripping up on this carton thing too, because, for example, and maybe we're familiar with it, like the Dr. Brommer's body wash, the replacement ones that come in a carton. I mean, the whole, I guess, idea we're doing by getting those is thinking that I guess they could be recycled, but I'm blown away that it can't. So I'll know now. Okay. I did want to know, I have two questions. The first is, I always feel like I'm looking online to get the best idea of, based on the little triangle and the number inside, what is what. And half the time I feel like I'm getting conflicting information. Is there a tried and true place I can look, or is it something on the Republic Services website?
Yeah, we shy away from saying the numbers because we want hard plastics, and sometimes those are different numbers. So there isn't necessarily anything on our website, but we do say plastic bottles and containers. To your question, I would say the best thing you can do if you live in Richmond is ask a Republic Services representative, because we do accept different materials than other municipalities accept, which is confusing, and the state is working on that. And but your best resource is going to be Republic Services, because you won't be charged contamination for something that you think is recyclable, and it may be in some city in Los Angeles, but it's not up here. Right. So yeah, I would say 1s and 2s, and most of the time 5s. If you can knock on it and it's nice and hard, it's typically going to be bottles and containers. Like if you can crumble it in your hand or poke a hole through it, we say put it in the trash. Okay. Single-use items, things like that, they're typically just trash.
Okay, thank you. 1, 2, and 5. And then my other question, which isn't necessarily recycle related, so if you can refer me, or this is more of a frustration, which maybe with this new contract things have changed, but it's far too often that when the Republic trucks come to pick up the trash, they're leaking. Like, I've literally spoken with the haul drivers that say, yeah, our trucks are not, they need to be fit. Like, they'll acknowledge it. And so they'll leave all the gross juice, whatever, that came from the bins. And it leaves a trail all through the streets and people's carports. I mean, is there going to be like a service number where we just, because it's constantly asking them to come back and clean up. And I just...
That's not good. We hate to hear that. I will definitely let my operations manager know, because things like that shouldn't be happening. Okay. The best thing you can do is call customer service and let them know, like, because they have your address, they know what truck went by your house, and we need to know if there's a problem with the truck, obviously.
Yes.
hate to hear that, and I'm sorry. And we can't fix it unless we know. So I would say call customer service, which is on our slide.
Which I do. I call them often.
Okay.
So I will. I just was, it's like doesn't stop and multiple neighbors call.
Yeah,
so.
I
Okay.
am sorry to hear that. I will let my operations manager know, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for letting us know.
Sorry. So before we answer any more questions for people here, we're going to answer a couple of questions from the people on Zoom, okay?
Hello, this is the voice behind the curtain. We have 2 questions. We have, how do we dispose of fire extinguishers?
I would say take it to household hazardous waste. Yeah.
Excellent, thank you. And then the second question is, how do we dispose of vacuums or blenders?
Oh, I mean, that would be trash. Well, so what we classify as e-waste is if it has an LED screen. So it's the circuit board kind of thing that makes it dangerous. Yeah. So if it's just a plastic and glass blender, I would say put it in the trash. But if it has an LED screen and it's got, then you should take it to HHW for e-waste drop-off. Or you can schedule a bulk pickup.
Okay, so it looks like that's it. Next person.
My neighbor still gets newspapers. So newspapers go in the green, you said?
They can, either one. Either
Green.
recycling or green.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then on the clamshells, if they're clean clamshells, can I put them in the recycling bin?
If you are taking the time to really wash it out and it's got a number 1 or number 2, I would say it's okay.
It's okay. Yes, I do
But
wash
we,
them out.
we typically shy away from it because a lot of people aren't going to take the time.
Oh, I
Yeah.
do rinse mine out and
Yeah.
clean it. So it's good in the recycling. Okay.
Any more questions? Okay, we can take 3 more.
Okay. Hi, that was really a wonderful presentation. I mean, all of those are very helpful. We have been, I live in a multi-unit facility, not facility, but, residence. And we made a big effort to get rid of the plastic bags in the blue recycling bins, telling people you cannot put your recycling in the plastic bags. And then I was surprised to see that it is okay. And I'm wondering if you're going to update, I know it's a big expense, but if you're going to update your posters that you provide for people to put in like condo units, et cetera. That was one question. We made a big effort and didn't get very much compliance. And now it seems like it's okay.
So the only plastic bags, and this has become, we do route reviews every year, and plastic bags are by far the largest contaminant that we find across our whole service area.
Right.
The plastic bags are a huge issue. So it's not just your property, I will say that. The only type of plastic bags we accept are clear. So the driver and our sorters have to be able to see what's inside. So your average kitchen bag, the white ones, those are not accepted. The black bags, any single-use bag that you get at the store isn't going to be accepted in there because those are those plastic films. You can squish it in your hand or poke a hole through it. Yeah. So yes, we do accept the clear plastic bag. I would say our messaging is don't use a bag at all or use a paper bag. Even the clear plastic bags aren't great. So that is our same messaging. And we have updated the new brochures that are coming to multifamily properties to really make the bagging guidelines more clear.
Right.
We are keeping the clear plastic bags because a lot of commercial businesses and things like that do need a solution. So it is an option. But I would say definitely avoid it if you can. So that messaging at your property, I would say is the same. Yeah.
Okay, I also wanted to know, is there a published list of surcharges? Because I see so many, I'd like to know like what percentage contamination and then what the surcharges are, just so I can understand it to maybe pass this information along, because I see so many things that are contamination and I'm just shocked. And I think the only thing that will remedy that, besides trying to educate, is our surcharges. Yeah. So is that a published published table with information like percent contamination and what the surcharge is?
We don't have the percent contaminations on there, but we do have the surcharge for contamination fees. So they work a little bit different for commercial, like a metal bin versus a residential bin. But those are on the website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that wants to ask another question? Because I.
If you have another, I can.
Okay. We'll be available for a little bit after as well.
Yes. So if you have any questions later on, feel free to stay behind.
I'm a frequent user of the hazardous waste disposal, and I really, really think they're awesome. And I get so surprised when people in West County, in the applicable area, just have no idea that they can take all these goods in there. So just FYI. But I have a question on the composting. I was told no raw meat.
Raw meat's okay.
Raw meat is okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, my
Bones,
goodness.
all of that's good.
Okay. And then what about the freezer paper cartons? Is that okay? The sort of waxy freezer cartons?
No, we don't want waxy.
So no waxy.
Waxy would actually have to go in the trash.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Any more? Okay, go back.
Okay, let me think of what many questions I have. I think that's it for now. I do have a question. Okay, I'll just ask it. Is it still being recorded? Yes. Okay, I don't. Okay, well maybe it'll help. I don't know if people know that people using nitrous oxide for illegal. For getting high is increasing. And I've come across canisters in the recycling, and I took them to, I took them to household hazardous waste, and they said, okay, we'll take them because you just have a couple. But I've read now that this is a big problem, and that the companies that are producing these products are not responsible for taking back the canisters. So I was wondering if you're already planning for dealing with that, because I'm not sure where they're going to appear. If they're going to appear in the trash, they're going to appear in recycling.
Yeah, it is an issue, and our drivers have noticed it, and it's kind of scary. So I will say that our hazardous waste program, our recycling manager, he's expanding. We're looking into vape programs and things like that. Nitrous oxide, those in particular, I'm not totally familiar with what where we're going with that, but I do know that we're aware of it. We want to find a solution too, and I will keep you posted. Yeah, it's an issue.
Sorry, that's a little off base.
Okay, so I'm going to check if there's any more questions on Zoom.
There is one, and it's what to do with parchment paper, like parchment paper that you might find that's covering a sandwich.
Most sandwich wrapping, is typically, it's tricky because it's got the wax on it. We typically say if it's got one layer of wax, that's okay in the compost. If it has two, it won't break down. Which is hard with parchment paper, but it should be okay in the compost. Most parchment paper.
Perfect. Thank you.
So we're going to have one more question, and then we're going to go into our activity.
What happens to, what kind of services do apartments that have more than 20 units, can they access any of this? Because in our area, we have a big apartment complex that dumps a lot of stuff, and it doesn't seem like they have enough bins and things like that for all the units that they have on Davila Way. It's Davila Apartments. And so it's a big trouble spot for our area. So I'm wondering, I think they're more than 20. So I'm wondering, what do they have available to them?
Is this in Richmond or county?
County.
County. Okay, so county's a little bit different. Yeah, you are limited to 20 units. Those apartment complexes we do have services available for them to schedule bulky pickups. It's just at a cost. And we can drop off big containers if a lot of people have waste. It's just at a cost. So the resources are a little bit different in county, yeah.
Okay. Do you have posters available that we could post up of those things that?
Yes.
Because we're having an Earth Day event and we'd like to show people what they can do.
Yeah, I'll talk to you after. We can
Okay,
drop them
great.
off. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so that's it for Q&A. If you have any more questions later on, feel free to stay behind. I know it's already past 12, but if you have time, please join us for our activity. So, if you listen to our presentation today, we have a 2-question activity. We have additional swag for you guys to win if you are able to answer these questions. So our first one is, which bin does this item belong to? Here we have aluminum foil. All right?
The blue bin.
Correct. So, if you want, please meet me over there and I'll give you your prize. So our second one, this one is going to be a little harder. Has multiple utensils. So which bin does these items belong to? So we have a plastic fork, a paper plate, and a paper napkin. Oh, first person to raise their hand.
The plastic fork goes into the black bin, and then everything else goes into the compost.
Correct. Yay. So that is our quick activity. But we also have an additional activity with our public services if you would like to stay behind and play with the... All right.
I just want to point out that your first example, the aluminum foil, people get wrapping paper that looks like shiny metal. They get that mixed up.
Sorry. Do you want to repeat that again?
When you first put up number 1, which was the aluminum foil, that could have either been aluminum foil or wrapping paper that is shiny. So until you said it was aluminum foil, I wasn't sure whether it was shiny wrapping paper that would go into trash or if it was aluminum foil that would go into the recycling.
Thank you for that. I should make it more clear next time. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming. If you have the headsets for translation, please return them. If not, you guys are feel free to go. We have food outside of this room. Just make sure that you guys are not bringing the food inside because food is not allowed in here except for water. We also have compost pails, like what Republic Service talked about, on the bench on the back. And if we run out, again, feel free to come to City Hall 450 Civic Center Plaza on the 3rd floor and just request for it. Thank you.
Yeah, we have any